Hello everyone, thank you for joining us for another Artful event. My name's Brittany and today we are going to be making watercolor paintings inspired by the summer solstice, which is the longest day out of the whole year and also considered the first day of summer. What you will need is a paintbrush, a cup for water, a watercolor set, a paper towel. You'll also need a pencil, and you'll also need some crayons. You'll need something circular to trace. You'll also need a ruler. And last but not least, you are going to need a blank paper of watercolor paper. So first step, what you are going to do is take your circular object, place it somewhere in the center of your paper. You'll take your pencil, and you are going to trace around so that you have a circle in the center. And then the next step would be to take your ruler and to line it up from corner to corner on your paper. And you're going to start adding lines in. So your first line is going to start here, and then once you get to your circle, you're going to go to the opposite end and leave a space. And you are going to continue that throughout your piece. So we'll start on the other end. And you'll keep adding these lines in. Until your sun looks something like this. Now you can choose to add more lines in like we did here. I might actually add a couple more. And you'll just keep on putting more diagonals in until you feel like your sun is complete. Okay, so it looks like we have everything mapped out. So our next step is going to be getting to the watercolor. So when using your watercolor, you want to make sure you have a paintbrush ready to go and a cup of water. You're going to add some water to your brush, and then for the center of the sun, you want to start light. So we'll go with a yellow and start adding that in here in the center. If I want to add more color, I'm actually going to make sure my paintbrush has more water added to it. I'm going to fill that in. Okay. And then if you want to add different colors to it, you can actually start layering some orange tones onto there. I like to add that on the outside of the sun. Also add some red tones. And by doing that on top of your yellow, it's actually going to create some different in-between tones there. So you're just going to go between the three colors, red, yellow, and orange, until you have a sun in the center that you're happy with. Just going to take a little bit more red on the outside to outline it. Okay, so now that we have that filled in, we're going to start adding color to each block that we have outlined here. And we're going to do a different color for each one. So let's start with green first. And just to test it out, you might want to do a smaller space so you feel comfortable with it, and you'll just add the color in there. And then for every other one, if you want to try this different technique of using crayons, this will add some resistance to the paint so that when you add on top of it, it creates an interesting pattern. So that's another technique we're going to use today. So you're going to take one of your crayons and you're going to incorporate some kind of pattern that you want to do. So we'll just do some little squiggly circles added onto here. Okay, and then once that's added there, you're going to take a different color. So let's do some blue. And you can see here that the color is popping more. Now you can see the crayon bleed through. So it creates an interesting effect of resistance with the wax. You can start light and keep adding color if you want to make it darker. Okay. And then for every other one, I'm going to do a solid pattern, solid pattern. So I'll go choose a different color. Let's do red next. And then when you want to clean your brush, you can always put it back into the water, and then actually if you want it to be not as wet, you can put it onto the paper towel. So you can work in between both of those things so that you can add more water to the paint or less water if you choose. So before I go to the next part, I'm going to take another color crayon and I'll put in my next pattern. Okay, actually add one right there. All right, and then you're going to take your next color of your choice. So I will do purple next on top of the orange crayon, and you'll add that on top. And let's say I wanted to add a second tone on top of my purple. You can do that with watercolor pretty easily. So if you wanted to add a second tone of, let's say, some blue on top of the purple, you can just take a little bit of blue and then layer it on top. Maybe that's too much blue. So again, you're going to wipe your brush if it's too much. Since there's already water on your paper, it's easy to just mix the colors together once you add a little bit onto there. And you can do that throughout your painting. Okay. All right, so I'm getting to my next color, which is going to be orange, and we're going to make that a solid color. Okay, and then let's select another crayon. We'll do some lines for this one, for the pattern. these too, you can do whatever colors you want to. You can incorporate a pattern of some sort where you alternate 2 different colors all the way around the sun. For now, we are going to do an assortment of colors just so you guys can see the effects of what works with the crayons. So you can see how that works. Looks like that. Let's finish off the other half of our sun here on this side of the paper. So we're about halfway done, so you guys can see the effects there of alternating different colors, adding on different shades of different crayons onto there. So you're going to come up with different effects, and you're not always going to know what the results are going to look like, but that's part of the fun. So let's get to the second half and keep going. So we're going to add some more. Let's go with orange for this next one. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is what your piece should look like at the end. If you want to see more Artful projects, be sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow us on Instagram as well as our Twitter. We'll see you next time. Thank you.